Nigeria is not exempted. We have a lot of digital formats and platforms all around town. Um, not limited to just roadsides, which are the billboards. We have them in malls. We have them at destinations. We have them at airports and the rest. So to get a grasp of what we're saying, can we move to the next slide? Next slide, please. We need to understand what exactly is the business that we are in. And then this would help in terms of how we succeed in the business or otherwise. Basically, a lot of people would ignorantly say that out of home is billboards. Yeah, as much as billboards are critical part of out of home media. Out of home media is beyond just billboard, and we also need to really understand the nature of the business that we are in. You know, just like the person that sells mattress, and if you ask such a person to be ignorant to just say I sell mattress, he needs to look from the solution part, which is he sells a sleep, a good night rest to the consumer. In the same way, if you want to talk to your advertisers, what you as an out of home media provide is you deliver the audience. So basically, our business is the business of audience delivery, which you find in the third place. Please, next slide, please. So audience delivery is basically our business. So we intercept an average potential customer, or if you like, populace, within how they commute from a location to another location, whether it's going from home to their office, going to the gym, traveling, you know, in the course of the day, you must be engaged by one format of the other of the out of home media. So if you are driving on the roadside, you see billboards, bus stop shelters, gantries, and the likes. If you are walking along the road, you also be met with such. Of course, if you are a commuter and you are going by the train or even the bus, at the terminals, you would see various formats of out of home. If you are shopping in the mall, you would also see. Um, so if you are recreating, you go into the gym, we have gym advertising, out of home media are positions around there as well. So these are places, are touch points, if you ask, where you can deliver audiences to the brand that is enjoying the visibility or exposure on out of home billboards or out of home media infrastructures. Because these days, what we do is more integral to any city. So, i.e., why we do gantries, which also provide traffic information to motorists and commuters as well as pedestrians. Can we go to next slide, please? So global trends as new media and mobile emerges as the leader in advertising and promotion, out-of-home media is complementing the communication strategy by showcasing innovative and creative outdoor advertising, reaching out to the world on the move. Smart posters capable of recognizing and reacting to consumers type while will become commonplace, obviously. They are already commonplace now. I mean, your mobile phones are being linked to out of home formats all over the world. LED boards can now, if you pass an LED board, you can send a signal to your smartphone. That is on the global stage right now. Can we move to the next slide? NFC, near field communication. Of course, most of the new generation smartphones, they come with near field communication. They are NFC enabled. With that, you can touch and buy. You can be prompted when you pass out-of-home formats that are NFC enabled as well. The question to be asked is, how much of that do we find in our market here today? But these are things you find globally, part of global trends. Next slide, please. Let's move. Let's move to the next slide.
We're doing that now, please, sir. Hold on.
So basically, anyway, slide or no slide, I think I'll go on.
Okay, sir.
And so that we can relate with ourselves. Those that are logged on can actually keep following, and when the slide is able to move, we'll see. So large numbers of smart posters able to recognize whether you're a male shopper or a female shopper. You know, your mood can be recognized. One of the leading out-of-home media specialists, Kinetic, has already tested a smart poster, and first poster that is able to reach passerby. Some scientific fiction style technology enabling posters to recognize individuals has also been launched. You know, face recognition and the rest. Technology will continue to forge further and create closer relationship between posters, that is media, and the audience. There's a symbolic relationship that we're seeing already with this. Content will play an increasing role in out-of-home media. It's already playing an increasing role, however, not only on social media, but even on our platforms. This is on the global stage. All these can be fact-checked and seen. There are loads of examples of them online that we can borrow and try to see if this market is ready for it, so that we don't move ahead of the market. So with your mobile devices these days, of course, we're also using Mobile Classroom, which is an app that has been developed to help us to have this platform. Most of these kind of apps have been used to enable out-of-home media. It is for us to search more in local market to see how we can do that. So, unfortunately, this slide, I don't know why those controlling it are not moving it, because we need to move very fast. We need to get on to strategy and then delve into the cross of today's discussion, which is sales and marketing. How do we ensure that we up our strategy and be able to have the better share of the market? So under strategy, we would like to approach this by looking at the 5 forces strategy proposed as known as Michael Porter's 5 forces framework, which talks about threats of new entrants, bargaining power of supplier, bargaining power of buyers, rivalry amongst existing competitors, threat of substitute products and services. So basically, as we run this out-of-home business, we need to understand that it's a very competitive environment, and more so, we are not just competing amongst ourselves. Even the buyers, who are whether the advertisers or the agencies that are in between, they're also adopting this strategy. Hence why they are using suppliers' money to run their business. Hence why you get propositions like 180 days credit, 90 days credit, and the likes. So the onus is on you to also have your own strategy as a supplier, how you take advantage of the market. Because the crux of this business, I provided a theory around it, because our business is all about occupancy. So the rate per occupancy is what I've deduced in terms of how to calculate this. So for every out-of-home media structure that you have out there, you need to be able to come up with how to calculate your rate per occupancy, which means if you have 10 out-of-home assets, those are the media infrastructures and platforms you have out there. And out of it, maybe only 4 gives you 12 months uninterrupted occupancy in the course of the year. And you have 10. Obviously, 6 of them, probably they don't give you 12-month occupancy. Maybe staggeredly on the average. Whereas the one that gives you 12% occupancy gives you 100% occupancy. That's what it means in practical terms. The ones that don't give you 100 occupancy, you're actually bleeding through them. So your strategy must be to ensure that you maintain 100% occupancy, especially when your billboards are in Lagos and other states where there are no discounts for vacant boards. So you don't want your boards to ever be vacant. And this brings me to the golden rule of this business, out-of-home media business. The golden rule, the number one says location. 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 The number two says less is more. Less is more would help you to be in tandem with the economic theory that says the lower the supply, the higher the demand. Now look at it this way. On the flip side, when the supply is higher than the demand, which is what is obtainable in our market today, obviously it becomes a buyer's market. And the buyer can actually implement the Porter's 5 forces strategy by gaining upper hand with the bargaining power of the buyer. And that is why you start to have propositions of 180 days credit, in some cases 6 months credit. Obviously, if you are just getting paid for something that you have delivered, the visibility that you have provided in the month of December 2024, and you are just getting paid for that month of December today, that's 6 months credit. You know what that comes to in number of days. So obviously, from strategy standpoint, I think every business must be able to adopt the right policy to ensure that they don't bleed. It might interest you to know that we have perishability even in out-of-home business. It's not only the person that sells tomato that suffers the loss of perishability. In out-of-home market as well, there is perishability. For every day loss of revenue from a particular asset, I mean out-of-home media format, whether it's a unipole, whether it's a gantry, whichever one your asset categorization falls under. To the extent that you fail to have occupancy in a day, that advertising asset is experiencing perishability. You can't gain that day back. And then if you have to look at the cost of sale, which includes the money that you pay to the state signage agencies, as well as other cost element that goes into it, obviously that perishability will catch up with the business in the long run. So strategy wise, I would say that yeah, we are moving. We are still on the strategy side of it. Yes, we are still on strategy. So again, the formation of this audience will determine whether I'll dwell more on strategy or just move to sales and marketing. But from the feelers that I'm getting, I think I should move to sales and marketing. So yeah, perhaps had I've, I've had never even heard of the word proposal that I thought it meant to propose to a lady. Obviously, as a sales and marketing person, your proposal document is very critical when you go out there to pitch for. So one golden rule about sales that I need to quickly share here. Let's move to the next slide. Simply put, there is no hard and fast rule when it comes to marketing strategy of visionary enterprise. However, there are some basic rules. Obedience is a key word here. You need to be more attentive. Let's move to the next slide. So for all the out-of-home media companies, you need to be able to build your brand, build a brand and image. I mean, that is solid out there. This is when you have created a fifth factor of production, such that people pay habitual obedience. So a set of stimuli generated whenever they mention the name of those brands, maybe based on value, maybe based on delivery, maybe based on quality of products. There must be something, a USP, unique selling proposition that is distinguishing your brand. However, we must have at the back of our mind that sales is not completed until payment is made or payment is received. That's a golden rule of sale. Can we move to the next slide? So as I was talking about building of brand, market-driven focus, core business proposition should be clear like crystal. Sales efforts must deliver core business proposition. Closeness to the client can make the difference. Be proactive rather than reactive. Let's move to the next slide, please. You also need to define your customer. Obviously, your customer, if you're a business that is driven by a solid strategy, your customer cannot be everybody. Even though we're in a B2B business, that is business to business. We are not in a B2C business. We are not selling to consumers. We are selling to a business. So the decision to patronize you revolves around certain contact individuals, whether it's from the advertiser side or from the agency side, and those ones too, they seek approval from colleagues and the hierarchy within there. So the strategy of selling within a B2B is different from a B2C. So you're also representing a business, and then you're approaching another business to patronize your business. But you need to know who your real clients are. If you care to know, I don't think a bad paying client should form the list of what you will regard as a good client to you. Because a bad paying client wants to kill your business. As a matter of fact, doesn't want you to survive. So you need to prioritize in terms of list. And it has to start not with a client that gives you volume, which in some cases might be applicable, but the client that pays you promptly. You need to encourage such clients to patronize you more. We'll probably get to the answer of grid at some point as we are going through this slide, because the answer of grid will answer that question for you. Let's move to the next slide. So this is the chain within this industry. You have the client, you have the creative agency, you have the media planning and buying agency. In some cases, you have the outdoor buying specialists. And then you have us as media owners that we are trying to pitch our product and services to these chains that come from above. Sometimes you are fortunate to be able to talk to the client directly, who is the advertiser. Sometimes the business resides with a buying agency, whether it's a media buying agency. We still have some few questions. Please, can we mute ourselves? Can we mute ourselves, please? Some businesses still reside with the creative agency. And then we have very few number of outdoor media buying agencies, the ones we know as outdoor buying specialists, out of home buying specialists. So we need to understand this pattern very well as we approach our sales sales pitches. All right, can we move to the next slide? So obviously, in sales approach, we have those that we regard as order getters and those that we regard as order takers. Whichever way, to move from being an order getter, to move from being an order taker to order getter, which is very achievable, then you would need to approach the client or your prospects as a solution provider. It's very important. And then you must build a relationship. Build a relationship, be in their faces, so that when they are planning or they're about to launch a new campaign, you'll be the first to be informed. And if your audience are located in good position, with that relationship, you are sure that you can click a sale with any of those clients. And that takes you from being an order taker to order getter. Next slide, please. So obviously, I think these days we've been encouraged to make sure that we have nameplates on our various out-of-home assets. It's important because it presents itself as part of the sales force out there. Obviously, like I said earlier, less is more. So as much as your audience, your assets, your out-of-home assets are located where they can be considered as enjoying solus in the sense that they are free from clutter, you stand a better chance to present that out-of-home asset as a special site. And you need to price it as such and also demand relatively better payment terms, and don't go with the Joneses within the industry. All right, can we then move on? So part of the strategy is for you to keep building a solid network, a classic for all generation. Who do you relate with in the industry? Colleagues, brand managers, media planners, etc. How deep are you involved within your industry? You need to be more visible. You must, as a salesperson, you must be as visible as your boards, as your billboards out there. How and when do you exchange call cards? Relevancy is key. How well can you access information within the industry? Trade journals, grapevine, through social gathering, through being at industry events. All these, you must be on top of it. Next slide, please. Relationship management. You are not just selling, but marketing. Deep product knowledge is key. Deep product knowledge, one of the things I touched on that strategy is the fact that the product that you have in your hand, those are the out of home assets. They are highly perishable, highly, very perishable. In the sense that non-occupancy per day, especially with LEDs, non-occupancy per second is perishability. If you understand your product very well, you understand it to that extent. Understanding your clients' needs, psych, wants, etc. Establish contacts, regular visits, and follow-up. Establish and maintain a good professional image. This is very important. How you dress is how you are dressed. Read wide to be versatile so that you can engage and be engaged too. Enhance your client's job, business by doing some competitors' watch, and you have to be prompt about it. Know what their competitor is doing even before they launch the campaign or they break a campaign. You intimate your clients ahead. That means you are being a value beyond just pushing your out of home media asset to their face. Be polite, cautious, listen, and be of positive attitude. Attitude is everything. If you pick the alphabet A to Z, you can do this exercise at your leisure time so that you see the importance of attitude. A to Z, pick them alphabet by alphabet. A, you pick T twice, you pick I, you pick T again, you pick U, you pick D, you pick E. Those alphabets A to Z, if you number them, I think it's going to give you from 1 to 26, thereabout. And each of them, A will become 1. If you add up the commensurate figures, attitude, if you add it together in numbers, it's going to give you 100%. That's how strong and powerful attitude is. Okay, we need to make money, obviously. Pricing strategy. Here are some tips. Be good at negotiation. Record keeping is very important. Preparation is very important. Historical comparison, maintain a benchmark. I think it's very important for every business to have a benchmark. Have your standby reserve, and your fallback. What becomes a deal breaker for you is very important, and that is entrenched in the strategy of the business that you represent. So basically, we're almost getting to the end. I understand that I only have 20 minutes for this before we go into question and answer. So can we move to the next slide as we wrap up? This is my golden way of wrapping up. Always ask for a full bottle. Don't settle for anything less. Thank you very much. Last slide. Thank you very much. So move into the interactive section, and I'm ready for us to dialogue, to talk, and learn from ourselves. Thank you. Moderator, up to you. And moderate how you want them to ask questions, whether it's live questions, whether it's to type it out.
Thank you. That's a question.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you so much for this impactful message. Hello, everybody. Any questions? Hello. Any question? Do you have any question to ask? Well, we still have Mr. Babs in now. Oh, somebody raises hand. You can talk. Hello.
Excuse me, please. Um, I just have a question. You stated that we should always ask for a full bottle, like we should not settle for less. You understand? What if, what if it's an half bottle that is available? Are we not going to make do with what we are presented with? Do you understand my question?
Yes, very well. I understand your
You said
question.
we should not settle for less. We should always ask for a full bottle. What
Thank
if
you for
it's an half bottle that is presented? Yes,
that.
thank you very much.
Thank you for the question. Again, like I said, that every business must have a strategy and have good positioning. So if that's the case with the business, and the business is such that says to his team that we are always at the top notch of value proposition, what we do, what we deliver, we know ourselves. In because of that, we always go for the full bottle. Once that is entrenched, once that is
Thank
entrenched,
you very much.
if they present half bottle to you, you will decline, not because you are proud, but because it's in tandem with the DNA of the business that you represent.
Wow. Do you hope you get your response back?
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay, do you have other questions? Any other person? So if you don't have any questions, we can round it off. Thank you very much, sir. We do appreciate you
Good
for this
afternoon,
very.
everybody. I have a question.
Okay.
Can I
Go
proceed?
ahead. You can proceed. Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Gaps. We really appreciate this enlightening topic. So my question goes to us, please, for the OOH, what are the metrics to measure our reach?
Okay, so that's a big elephant in the room, and it's still a big challenge to and it's the reason why out of home is losing um, um, share of the budget within the advertising ecosystem, because as we speak presently, there is no deliberate investment into that piece of research within the market. So now the onus is now on individual out of home media companies to try and invest in that platform by platform, that is out of home asset by out of home assets, which the most of the time the clients or the advertisers they always push back on, because it's a bit subjective, because you can be claiming that your billboard along Third Mainland Bridge or Ikorodu Road is making this reach, but that's a claim, residing with just your company. So it cannot really be acceptable as much as what the industry provides. So it requires an industry investment that says that they are putting traffic counters on a particular stretch of road to be able to work the numbers out, and then that will give you a relatively verifiable rich metrics within that. So right now it's a bit tough. Those in the mall locations, they are still able to come up with metrics to be able to say this is the reach, because the malls calculate footfalls that comes into the mall. So it's something that the market should have grown beyond and be able to provide it um, at some reference point of where you can pick it up. So I mean that's the only response I have to that, because there's no particular reach. I know the media buying agencies, they come up with metrics of how to calculate it, especially those that use uh, Media Star to do their planning and so many other tools that they use. But for out of home media owners, it's still a gray area. So that's it.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you, sir.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
Good
do we have
evening.
other question? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Mr. Babs, for this insightful session.
You're
Now,
welcome.
I have a question.
Yeah, go
We we all know that the advent of digital media is changing the media landscape. And as an OOH practitioner, or rather a traditional media practitioner, what can we do to adapt to the new trend to remain relevant?
One of the things is what the earlier question pointed on. As an industry, we need to come together to invest in research that can provide data, that can support and take us away from subjectivity to empirical figures. That's one. Secondly, the investment that we've done in technology so far basically are LEDs and all that. I think there should be more investment that can link, especially the LED boards, to social media platforms. And so we can begin to fraternize within this new media space. I think those are and these are top level investments. Other than that, uh, any other suggestion would be a bit pedestrian, if you understand what I mean. So that would be my response. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your time. We do appreciate you. So I would like to extend a heartfelt thank you to all the participants, and I'm so confident that each of us have walked away with at least one or two valuable insights. So let's keep the momentum going. More of these webinars will be coming up here on different areas. So I request you stay tuned. You can also use this live meet on this app to host your meetings, webinars like this, And you can tell your friends about this. And also, before we go, quick one, I want to let you know we are hosting another super interesting webinar tomorrow by 12 p.m. And the topic is starting a career in security electronics. You definitely don't want to miss this. So tell your friend to tell your friend. I'll see you there. Bye. Thank you.